So it's been an amazing process for me to, coming from a fairly mainstream American background, to start realizing that these really simple, low-tech, and really good, effective techniques for living really high-quality lives using fewer resources and less energy were out there. The techniques are out there. We know how to build good natural houses. We know how to heat ourselves efficiently. We know how to make electricity from the sun and the wind and the water. So part of the question becomes, how come we're not doing it that way? How come we're still, for the most part, if you look around, you see people consuming really vast and unsustainable amounts of resources, and especially of energy. And I think that's really one of the key questions, is not how do we do it? Not how do we do it in the technical sense, but how do we do it in the cultural context? How are we going to actually change our cultural context to embrace this way of living? There are some pretty significantly different aspects to living a more sustainable life, especially because it takes a lot of time. Building your own house, growing your own food, cooking good food from ingredients that you grow or that you buy in bulk, all that takes a lot of time. One of the things that becomes clear when you start looking at that issue is it's a very, very difficult thing for any one person or any one family to do by themselves. And there are certainly exceptions. There are certainly very committed individuals who move out into the wilderness, individuals or families move out into the wilderness and make their living off the land by themselves. They have to work extremely hard to do that. And it's very isolating because that's not what's supported, for the most part, by most of the messages we get from our culture. So I really think that finding a supportive group of other people who are interested in living their lives that way too is pretty critical. And I found that in my own life. Working in a group context where people share a set of values and a set of goals makes it a lot easier to act, I think, in concert with those goals yourself. Because there's some peer pressure, frankly. People are kind of paying attention to, on some level, to each other's choices and resource usage, and we're going to hopefully gently question and challenge each other on that. I challenge, when I see people buying a lot of tropical fruit, including bananas, I say, do we need to do that? Can we find a local source of fruit that's going to meet our needs better? Can we grow our own? So I think when you're trying to do something that's a departure from the cultural norm, it's incredibly helpful to have a group of people to do it with, for all kinds of reasons. Another really key, one of the most key factors for me in choosing to live in community is just in and of itself, the act of living with and sharing with a group of people reduces your resource use and your energy use. A simple example, here at Earth we have, we have about 6 different households or family units, and between those 6 households we have a single washing machine. That's an example. We have a single set of power tools in our shop. There's a lot of other things like that. A single lawnmower, a single truck that we share. So as opposed to the very isolated and dispersed nuclear family lifestyle where every family needs its own complete set of all the accoutrements of our culture. Here, even if we want those things, we want to have a television, we want to have a DVD player, we want to have a chainsaw. We can use fewer of them per capita just as a result of sharing that stuff. There's also economies that show up around things like food production. I think it's a lot more efficient for a group of 10 or 20 or 30 or 100 people to collectively create a sustainable food source as opposed to a single family trying to do that. Likewise with buildings, with natural buildings specifically, as we reduce reliance on high technology and fossil fuel energy, the thing that's tending to step up to take that place is human labor. So most of these lower tech techniques actually require a lot of time and a lot of physical effort from a lot of people. It's really, really nice to have a group of people to draw on for, moving heavy objects or mixing a lot of cob or digging a big hole, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of different pieces in it for me.